guess we can get started. What are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about no calls. And some of these plays are going to be simply plays that had a no call and maybe should have had a whistle. Some of these plays are going to be plays that had a whistle and probably should have been a no call. And then we'll have a mix of is it or isn't it that you all can help. We can decide. And then I'm hopefully going to go over maybe some positioning and stuff too as we see these. So if you have a question about an official's position or where they should have been looking, please ask, because I tend to forget these things as I get on kind of a groove and just keep talking. So interrupt me if you need to. What do y'all say we get started? All right, here we go.
A little different game right now. 45-35 loss for Jacobs yesterday to Grace Lake Central. And for, as you mentioned,
okay, we had a no call on this play. What does it look like?
Looks like a good no call.
Good no call? Possible backcourt?
No.
Why not possible backcourt?
Wow. Okay, because that's still front court. No 3 parts are in the front court yet.
No 3 points.
He's not in the front court?
No.
Yes.
He is in the front court. He's completely in the front court.
But the ball's not.
But the ball is not.
Not one of.
And he's even stamping on the line when he touches the ball again. If he were to be, let's just say he's not standing on the line. If he were to be in the front court and then dribble that ball into the backcourt, would it be backcourt?
No, because the ball never entered front court.
It did when it touched the player who was in the front court. Remember, the all 3 points principle only applies to a dribbling player.
Mm.
So in this case, it's a no call. It's not backcourt because the ball never made it into the front court. And he's standing on the line when he touches it, so it's still not. And now he's a dribbling player, so it applies. But if he was in the front court at this point, not standing on the line, and then he touches it and dribbles it down, that technically, by rule, would be a backcourt violation.
Yeah.
We all understand that, the principle of it at least, yes? This, though, was a great no call. And I think the center, I don't know, nobody was really right on the division line, but I think they all kind of saw it. And you could see the ball never made it over, so he's went and got it. Okay, good. And then he brought it over. I know you all saw it right away, but still got to talk it out. All right, let's move on to the next play. This is our 2-person game of the evening. Let's go ahead. NFHS game, so it's got that standard white noise, which I know nobody likes. So we don't know exactly, but there's no whistle on the play, as you could tell. A lot of contact in the paint, and it looks like a possible shot. So should we have had a whistle on this? What do you guys think?
That's an odd one.
I mean, if you are, it's got to be, defender was legal.
Yeah.
This cannot, agreed, this cannot be a block. Look how straight that kid jumps up.
Yep.
Now his hand is on his shoulder coming, right? But I don't think that's in any effort to do except that his hand is down and that, hey, the player's coming at me. He's got to protect himself slightly as well.
That's just defensive posture.
Agreed. So, I mean, he jumps straight up, and who causes the contact?
Offense.
Still tries to shoot the ball. I think
Schroeder.
these 2 officials, there's only 2 on this game, That was a great no call.
I agree.
Because you really don't want to call an offensive foul either, even though by rule, technically as it's written, it probably is a player control foul. But it's definitely not. Verticality, he gets it all the way up to the floor. He's just jumping, stopping. I think that's a great defensive play, a good play on no call. What do you guys think? Yes, we all agree?
I agree.
Yep.
Yes.
What about, it looks like it, I don't know where this ball was before this clip was made, but I don't really like where that trail official is standing. He's a little too over for my taste. Now, again, maybe that ball was a little further across the floor in the corner and he had to come over, so it's possible. So maybe he's there because out of necessity. But as the ball has come back over, as he's starting to walk back a
Yeah,
little
he starts the right walk back.
Okay, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that that's probably what it was. He had to be over there to ref the ball. However, he shouldn't be stopping here, should he?
Nope.
No.
No, he should try and come down closer to the three-point line extended, closer to the sideline.
Agreed.
He would have had a better look at this play, even though, again, it was nothing. But I'm not sure he knows if this was nothing or not. Anyway, just a slight notice of positioning. But he hustles to go the other way when it gets down, so good. Anything else to add on that? All right, I've taught you guys well. So far, you're doing great. All right, this one is from this year. Let's just see what it does.
Ooh, close.
This was a no call. A no call on what?
Goaltending.
Possible goaltending. What do we think?
Looks like he's making a play on the ball, but he did hit the backing board.
He hit the ball. Watch, he hits the ball right there.
It's definitely not a technical foul for slapping the backboard. He's attempting to block the shot and following through and hitting the backboard. But did that ball start to come down before he hits it?
No.
No.
Too close for me to tell. And if it's too
Josh,
close to tell, what?
Josh, that would come from the C slot, correct?
The C or the trail, depending on, this was a transition play.
Right.
So the trail wasn't really anywhere near.
Yeah.
But yes, the center has to call it. The lead really shouldn't be looking up there. The lead should be looking at bodies.
It looks like he does on the follow through.
And the backboard's in his way. What happens on the follow through?
No, it looks like the ref is looking at underneath. He's not.
Yeah,
looking.
no, I think he's looking at what he's supposed to be looking at.
Right.
Now, my point on this one is, some would say it's really close. I'm counting it. Some would say it's really close. I'm not counting it. My philosophy is, on the close ones, I'm calling nothing. Because if it's nothing and you're going to give them that bucket, or if it's the other way around, wipe it off for something that was legal and you're not sure, that's not really good officiating, in my opinion. Be sure. If you're sure he got it, count it or wipe it off, whichever way it goes. But if you're not sure, it's nothing. I would much rather say to a coach who yells at me that I missed it, Coach, you might be right. It was close. I couldn't tell. They're going to be better. They're probably still not going to be happy, right? But I think they're going to be at least easier to understand. Okay, he said he couldn't tell. Fine. What do you guys think? Yeah?
Agreed. Yes.
Agree.
All right. Now we're going to get to a little more body contact driving. We had that one driving the 2-person, but what do you think?
Good.
Good no call.
Nothing. Good defense.
Good no call.
We had no call on that play. Now, did you see? Look at the coach for the team in black. Clearly, he thinks there should be a foul, right? And there's contact. There's definitely contact.
Yeah, created by the offense.
Coaches always think there should be a foul.
I think this is a good no call. There's a little bit, he's moving laterally for the most part. Do we agree? Following along?
Yes.
Maybe a little bit of a forearm or a hand check, but it looks like the dribbler is also kind of sticking his arm out. So there's some chicken fighting there. I'm allowing that. There's a bump, but it looks like the bump was initiated really by the dribbler. And then he sorry, it froze on me. And then he kind of lunges forward on his shot into the defender. The defender at no point goes toward
No.
opponent. Do we agree?
Yes, he's going backwards.
Right.
So yes, there's contact. Yes, it kind of looks ugly, but I think this is a great no call. And the center had it all the way from start, develop, finish. He watched this whole thing develop and turn into a big pile of nothing.
And the lead was right there at the end with nothing to it.
Good.
Now, here's what I don't like. Because again, the coach, we see the coach, right?
Yes.
Putting my hands
The
up
center
after.
is very aware that the coach wants a foul on that. Because as we're officiating, we should know there's contact here. He's going to yell at me. We should probably know that's coming. And he does that. I don't like that.
Me neither.
I think if you're at the lead and you're standing there, we're not supposed to be doing that, but I think if you're the lead standing there and you put your arms up for verticality, I think that's okay. You're giving a little extra information. But if you're going to do it while you're running down the floor with the players, I think it looks a little goofy.
Well, actually, too, he looks like he's looking at a coach doing that, and you pay no attention to the coach saying anything across the whole court. I'm not even paying attention to what he says.
Well, that's
Run
true,
down
but
the- right.
he's got nothing else to look at, Tim.
Who? I'm talking about the official. I wouldn't look at the coach and do that. Just run down the court.
Well, I will say this. I agree with you. I don't think that needs a response. If he continues on as play happens on, we can maybe address it. But one, we shouldn't be doing it while we're running down the court. And
Correct.
two, don't worry about defending your no calls. We all do it. I know I do, at least in my head, thinking, okay, he's going to say something. I'm ready. But we don't need to be ready. I mean, we do need to be ready, but just officiate the game. This is a play. No, we'll never know, but this is a play that I think if you don't even respond, he's going to put his arms up saying, hey, where's the foul? And then the next play is going to happen and he's going to forget and move on. So if you don't respond, it's not going to even make a blip on the radar of the coach. I don't think. Now, I also don't like, let's go back to this view here. The lead is starting to close down. Why?
Because
I don't
the
have a
ball
problem with
swung to the weak side. He's initiating rotation, but it's not necessary.
He could
Okay.
just get deeper and see the play perfectly fine.
The ball is on the weak side. Agreed. But where is everybody else? Don't you think we should have 4 eyes on 8 players as opposed to 4 eyes on 2 players? I don't think you need to close down there. Your center has the play. There's nothing else for your center to look at. Watch the players in the paint. Okay, now he might be anticipating it coming around. Okay, I guess I get that. But he's watching this play. You can see his face. I'm assuming he's not looking out the corner of his eye. He doesn't need to be watching this play.
Josh, how far down would you want to come? Just the normal halfway
As the lead?
on this play?
As the lead or the center?
Lead.
I think I now, as I say, he doesn't need to be coming in, and he doesn't. But if he knows that the play is over there, I guess he could start sliding in, not really closing down and reffing outward. But the IHSA has been preaching more of a position of the lead wider out. So on a play like this, where you've got 8 players, you know, that's 7th player, he's starting to come over, but you've got 8 players on the side. I would probably maybe be halfway between the 3-point line and the lane line. I don't think you need to get any closer than that because nothing has shifted to that side yet. We don't have to be on ball side. We have to be on the strong side is the lead in the trail, but we have to be on the side where the most players are, where we need our eyes the most. We all agree with that or no?
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, he should just stay wide because even if he is going to help on the play, he won't be able to see anything because it's right in his face. If you stay out there, you can see the top and the bottom of the players rather than just looking at one spot or the other. If
Agreed.
you're right
And
there, you can't see anything that happens on top unless you're looking straight up. Then you can't see anything on bottom. Just stay out there. You'll have a better vision.
agreed. And if the shot goes up like it does, but gets kind of blocked a little, you're going to have a much better view of rebounders when you're wider out. When you come in, as Jacob stated, you're really pinching your view to just a few players. So don't get caught in that. All right. That was a good one.
2-point lead for Richwoods midway through the 4th quarter. Heading down the stretch. Spin move for Somerville. Johnson tried to get the
What do we think?
Flop. Flop.
Yeah. Possible flop.
Possible flop. Possible.
2-point lead for Richwoods midway through the 4th quarter.
What? Now, this was a no call. And we have, I mean, we've always had this, but officially we have 4 rulings we can have.
3, 4,
Right?
1.
Block, charge, flop, or nothing.
Heading down the stretch. Spin move for Somerville. Johnson tried to get
This was a game before the flop was around, so
the
keep that in mind. But 24 comes in. What does he do? He causes a little contact because he's going, that's the direction he's going, right? And the defender is blocking, coming over. They're both trying to get to that spot. And what does 24 do?
He's pushed up, spin move.
He just stops and tries to spin around the guy.
Yeah.
Can be flop.
No, I'm not saying there wasn't contact. I'm not even saying it wasn't initiated by the offensive player. It probably was more offense than it was defense. You could make an argument the defense wasn't there in enough time. I think he was. But I think he fell down awfully easy watching the action of the dribbler. He stops on his left foot and completely tries to pivot around. If that defender in the white was really defending, I don't think he would have been moved hardly at all.
It looked like the kid pushed him with his butt, started him backwards, and then stepped on his foot. Almost like the defender got stuck.
Oh, look at the defender. He's already falling backward.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, these are tough plays because you're almost damned if you do, damned if you don't. Right? But I think if, again, you're not sure, you're better off with nothing than a block or a charge or even a flop. Flops, from what I've seen this year, started off strong, and I think this is what we all expected, and then started to fade near the end because we all started to kind of figure it out, and kids weren't really flopping a ton. And they weren't really meant for plays like this, I don't think. They were meant for the crazy flops and the 3-point, falls, and but we as officials, we need to read the movements of the players. I know it's one extra thing we have to do as we officiate, but if you see the player come in, oh, okay, we're anticipating there's going to be a block charge, and he stopped and he spinned and he moved. That kid fell for nothing. I thought that was a good no call.
Josh, could you have travel on that play?
What's that?
Could you have had a travel on that play with a spin move?
You all in your travels.
Just asking.
Let me look.
It was close.
A travel on green?
Yeah.
Who else?
Yeah, I guess that's a dumb question. Sorry.
The ref.
Yeah, I mean, you could have. In real time, if you watch us in real time.
The fourth quarter, heading down the stretch. Spin move for Somerville. Johnson trying to get the
It's your standard spin move.
Yeah.
And I know we don't officiate. I know we don't officiate college, but they've gotten away from, hey, don't call travels, the technical travels on the spins and the step backs and the Euro steps. They said, call the obvious ones that everybody knows is a travel. This is not one where everybody knows it's a travel. I don't think.
Woods, midway through the fourth quarter, heading down the stretch. Spin move for Somerville.
Right?
Johnson tried to get the...
You could make the argument. Who watched I don't remember which game it was, where there was a last-second shot. The kid drove the lane, took 5 steps, and shot the ball.
There's a big guy. Yeah.
He didn't take 5 steps, but he came in, and almost everybody thought he traveled. And Gene Steratore came in. Not that he's the be-all, end-all of officiating, but he's been around. And he basically said what I've been saying. Yes, I'm patting myself on the back right now. You can't see it. What I've been saying for years. A dribbling moving player, the rules say that the traveling rules start when a dribbling or moving player catches or holds the ball. Okay?
Yeah.
So you could say he's not really holding the ball until 2 hands. You could say he's doing it before that, but I think when there's 2 hands on the ball, now we are certain he is holding the ball, correct?
Right.
Yep.
Now you could see, yes, his left foot is clearly down. He's holding the ball. Okay, I get that. But in real time, isn't it a little more difficult to see when he's holding the ball?
Fourth quarter, heading down the stretch. Spin move for Somerville. Johnson
I can't
tried to
quite tell. And I know some of you are better than I am and say, it was easy for me to pick up. But I think everyone in the gym saw a great spin move. I mean, look at these kids watching. And I know it's their team and they're just kids, but everyone just thought that was a great play. Does that help with the... I'm not saying don't call travels. Not saying that at all. But I've said it before, and people have gotten mad online and made some not nice comments. People don't want us to come and watch technical travels. They just don't. That's not why people watch basketball. You don't call travel that's technically correct and then hear people, oh, wow, that official's good. Right? I mean, they want to see their kid spin and step back and, shoot and get that advantage. We are there to make sure the spirit of the rule is consistent on both sides. But all right, I'm done with that. Next one. What do we think?
Flopping.
Flop.
Flop.
Beep.
I'm going to play it again fast.
Easy call. Flop.
I got nothing.
Oh, flopping.
Are you all calling the flop or are you calling nothing?
Checking downside. All day.
There's hardly any contact and kids falling down.
Okay, first of all, so we all agree this is not a block.
Correct.
Okay. Are we calling a flop on this or are we just letting it go?
Call it and it stops.
I would call a flop.
First period, 36 minutes and 90 seconds to go. Is that 36 seconds maybe? 36.9 left? Okay. So first period, yeah. So I think you're right. This is a good time where even if it's the end of the first period, we can get this. It's only a warning, which the whole point of them making this a warning is to set the tone to say, we're not doing that. Would we agree that it's going to be even harder to call a flop now because your partner just called a block on that play? Or does it not?
Yeah, I think it is harder.
The trail really has, that's the center. Okay, because it's a transition. The center does not have a great look at this. The center needs to be aware of where his partner is, who is the lead. And what is the lead looking at?
Straight across.
Straight through between the players. I think the lead probably has the best look at it. Now, the center might have more of I can see he hit him on the shoulder, but he didn't hit him on the shoulder. Now, this also was before the flop. This was a game before the flop was. Is it possible the official called a block because he wanted to stop the flopping?
Yes.
Possible.
Did the ball go in?
I'm not sure. I'll check in just a second. Is this defender legal?
Yes.
Yeah.
In high school, he is.
Yes, he is.
In high school, he is. So if there was contact, I'm not convinced it would be a block. So maybe a no call is warranted. But definitely not a block. We agree with that, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Flop.
Now, it's also easy to say, looking at one play, right? Which that whole first quarter may have had a series of these plays, and maybe they finally decided to do something to tighten it up. If this was the first time this happened in the game, I'm probably not going flop. I'm probably letting it play out and maybe even say to the kid, hey, I can get you for a flop on that just to put it in the kid's mind. Sometimes that's all it takes. Calling a flop wouldn't be wrong, but sometimes preventatively, we don't need to interject ourselves into a game where it's not needed. And that, I think, if you had done nothing, it could have played out fine. Someone asked if the ball went in. Let's see if the ball went in. All right, he shoots the ball. Ball does not go in.
No.
Hey, Josh,
Yeah.
it looks like the C had a cadence whistle because the lead never called anything. I think Steve felt he had to call something.
Yeah, you might be right. He might have thought, holy cow, I can't pass on this.
Yeah.
I think he's wrong. I think he can pass on that.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know. I don't know what happened before that. There might have been a completely logical reason why that whistle was blown. But on that play alone, nothing. Let's show this one here. I like this one. I'm going to say nothing and you can tell me. Fast again, quick, and then I'll play it slow.
What is that hand signal?
Yeah, can be forward.
Oh, I don't have the hand signal slow. Sorry.
But
what do we think?
he's got a foul somewhere.
He's definitely got a foul.
What are you calling on the reach in?
By rule? Foul.
On the reach in? I don't know. Was he reaching in on?
I think he has a foul
12.
on. I don't know if it's technically a reach in, but right at that first
45.
contact.
12.
Did the big guy hand?
45 left.
The big guy.
Big guy, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the big guy.
45 left.
He kind of came over and maybe even chucked him a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely see their balance off.
Now, I say this official is correct and incorrect all at the same time. Why would I say that?
Yeah. I agree.
Because
By rule, but nobody cares.
correct. This was a foul. As the rule is written, he even affected his RSBQ. He changed his direct. It's a foul. But if you just wait 1 second, he totally passes to his teammate. It didn't really affect the play at all. You could say, well, maybe he was going to drive. You could, but if you just wait, let it develop, and now he passed it out, and they're gonna work their play.
So
Do we all see that?
Yes.
Look the score.
Yeah.
Look the score too.
Game stopper.
I think it's a game stopper. Exactly. That's it. That's what I see. And I don't know. I think it was Jacob who said, nobody cares. Nobody in the gym saw that as a foul. And now, again, that doesn't mean we don't blow our whistle if we don't think people think it's a foul. I'm not saying that at all. Sometimes we do have to blow our whistle and everyone thinks we're wrong. I totally agree that we are the peacemakers and the rule, takers, right? But we also have to be aware of what is good for this game, this specific game. All right. So we all agree that play that should have been a no call. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
probably.
Here's another. This must be a Missouri game. It's not a college game. Here it is again fast. We had an official by the lead. Shooting foul. I think he counted the bucket. What do you think?
Patient whistle.
Play on.
Maybe he got him a little bit, but did you see any effect on his RSBQ?
No.
No.
He so easily split those defenders, went up and made an easy layup. That is a no call.
All the whistle little bit.
That is not an and one situation. Again, I'm not saying he probably did get fouled by he probably did hit him as he was going up. But I don't know who said it, but just wait a second. Wait one, let it develop. Holy cow, this kid is totally free, made the quick, easy bucket. I got nothing. and nobody's going to say anything. If I have a foul on this play, it's here. What is he doing here?
He's got two hands on him.
He's putting two hands on him. That is not good defense. This is the first quarter. 3 minutes to go. This is this is me. I know a lot of people don't like hand checks. This is me. This is a great spot to go, boop, two hands. Right. And now you've just set a precedent. I'm calling hand checks tonight. You might not have to call another hand check all night. Even if it happens, they know that you've called one, you're calling them. Doesn't always work that way, but sometimes you call one and all you hear all night is, that's a hand check. You called that one. How about you calling this one? So I get that. But if you can get a hand check in there in the first quarter early on, don't make it up. A legit hand check, especially at two hands, it really solidifies your crew, even though your two partners hate hand checks and don't call them ever. Because you called one, the whole crew's calling hand checks tonight. That's the way it's perceived. And I think it's good because it's just like a flop or like a carry or like a traveling, if you want to call those. It sets the tone of this is where our baseline is of where we're going to be tonight. And you pick a play like this one that we showed where it doesn't affect the play and it sets the tone without taking it away. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Next one. This is from last year's state final game. And I might have played this already. If I've played this from last year, let me know if you remember.
Both teams with 15 turnovers coming into this final 2 minutes. That'll be a foul on bump there from Aubrey Galvin.
Hey, block was the call. Let's play it fast again, quick.
Both teams with 15 turnovers coming into this final 2 minutes. That'll be a foul.
No.
Bump there from Aubrey
Way too
Galvin.
soft. Come on.
Where's the block?
Yeah, that was a no call.
That's
Wow.
nothing. Incidental contact.
It was your state of final. Man.
Do we agree this defender is legal at this point?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, she has a legal guarding position. Let's go to the zoom in. How is she moving?
Obliquely.
Obliquely. She's moving laterally with the player. They're moving together, right? Does she move toward her opponent?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
The contact that's made, who makes the contact?
Offense.
Looks like the offense is making the contact to me.
And it's minimal contact. It's nothing. Good defense.
I got nothing.
Absolutely.
You can't penalize the defender there. You can't do that. You're penalizing the defender.
I agree. I think that's exactly what happened here. Is this defender was running with her girl, and she was maybe starting to get beat a little bit. Okay, but she's still running with her. And then you go, boom, I'm going to give you a foul. For what? What did I do? This is a no call.
Turnovers coming in this final 2 minutes.
TV moment.
That'll be a foul on Galvin.
Yeah.
From Aubrey
I'm
Galvin.
on TV.
Now again, this is the fourth quarter. Let's go back here. It's the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
1 point game. I don't know what's happened up to this point. But to me, with all of that scenario, even if if that call has been made all game, I get it. Consistency, fine. Not fine, but you get my point. But 1 point game, 2 minutes to go in the fourth, I'm not calling that a foul.
No,
Even if there was contact caused by the defender, the dribbler didn't lose control. The dribbler didn't get any disadvantage. I'm not going to be a decider on that call.
You got on the board there too. You got 2 fouls in each team. See it?
Yeah. You're right.
When do you call that foul?
Now, I played this one primarily because we see that called a lot. boys and girls, we see a dribbler. There's generally more contact when we see it, but dribbler comes up, players moving laterally with them. There's a little bit of contact, and we go, boop, foul. Oh, I got a block. But it's not really. If the defender is moving legally, as long as they don't move toward their opponent, the offense can't make contact. I'm not saying call a player control foul. I'm saying that's nothing. Let it play out. Now, if they continue to ride them and ride them and ride them, that's different. And you can call. There's one of the rules. I'm not going to say it exactly, but if they crouch them or they what's the word? Out of their path, then that's a foul.
Crowd them off the line, I think.
But that's not what happened there. All right, you all saw that. I know by the moans and the groans. All right, here is from one of my regional games. All right, this should be good, right? It's got to be a game that I'm going to screw up. All right, illegal screen called by the center. I'm not the center.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. He bumped into him right there. Wait a minute. Here he is.
It's
right there. There you go.
Barely.
What do we think? Do we like that, or are we laying it off?
He was not set.
Yeah.
Did he make contact?
50-50. Yeah. He's
Yeah.
contact.
He
But
threw
it's
his shoulder into the
50-50.
defender. Watch him. He threw his shoulder into the defender. Watch.
But he missed them too.
Yeah, hardly ever touched.
It's still illegal.
All right. So, Derek, you're right. By rule, this is an illegal screen. You got to give that moving player time and distance. Not sure he gave him time and distance, right? So, illegal screen, yes?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Where's the
Okay.
legal guarding position?
Okay, but if you let this just play 1 second, what happens?
The defender gets through.
Nothing happens.
Right.
He got through. He's still there defending the player. The contact was so minimal, and it didn't affect the play. I think we can play on. I think we can ignore that.
I don't know. I think I'm blowing my whistle on that one. Because if you don't blow your whistle on that one, that means the next time when he does it, he's going to do the same thing.
And he'll hit him harder, and everybody will know you had the right call on that second one.
For me, 50-50 can be.
I'm a big believer in screens, illegal screens, especially the ones where they do the slight lean and they cause some contact. There's contact on every screen. Every screen, there's contact. Very rarely will you see a screen where there's no contact. A lot of those leaning screens are illegal.
right.
But if you call every single one of those, I know some would say it'll stop. Maybe, maybe not. You might get 3 or 4 of them before they stop. They might continue on. What I'm saying is I'm going to watch the play develop, because if I do lean a little and I do cause a little contact, you're right. I shouldn't be doing that. But the kid, he got right around. Nothing happened. Maybe you can come in and later and say, hey, watch your screens. Keep your bows in. Don't be leaning over. That was a close one. 50-50 on that one. A lot of times, one comment to a kid about a screen and what they did wrong, they listen. They do try to fix it. Not all kids. Some kids don't care. Some kids don't get it. But a lot of the kids respond. That's me. Yes, we can blow our whistle for almost any contact that happens. There's contact and fouls that happen all the time. We make the decision as to what matters and what doesn't. I think on a play like that, that play didn't matter.
Okay, Josh, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Okay. So to correct the behavior, okay, we're talking about the behavior in the game, right? So if this player, okay, say it gets away with it, okay? So we come back down again. He does it this time. Let's say he did minimal contact, but it's still the behavior in the game is still continuing. When at that point do you say, hey, that's enough? You go over to him, you talk to him already. He's still continuing the behavior in the game.
All right. So on a play like this, and I know I said you can go to the player and say, hey, careful, keep it. I'm still not going to move my line as to what I think affects the game or not. If he continues to lean and cause contact and this player continues to get around him and nothing happens, I'm going to continue to call nothing. But as soon as there's one that is remotely affecting the play, then I'm going to get it. I will call a foul. I don't think it's any different than any other call that we make that we say to ourselves, it was kind of, I guess I could have maybe got that. Coulda, woulda, but did it affect play? Kids carry the ball a lot. Do we agree they carry the ball a lot? Not super huge carries, but a lot of ones that are in question. Do we call all of them? No, because it didn't affect the game. It's a little different. I realize a screen and a carry is a little different, but the principle is the same. Did it affect the play? And you have to kind of draw that line and keep that line where it's at. And if you think, Derek, that line, they're doing it on purpose now because you said not to do it and they're doing it, fine, then call a quick one. If you want to call a quick and you say, Coach, I told him to stop. He keeps doing it. I'm okay with that. But to me, in my mind, it didn't affect play. And even on a play like that, I'm not even talking to the kid. I'm not going to say to that kid, hey, that was close. To me, that wasn't even close enough to even make a comment.
But Josh, I want to defend your partner. I think from her angle, I think it looked worse than from our angle.
From her angle.
From her angle. The calling official.
You're probably and I don't say this enough. Why? I don't, because I can't say it every play. But we're looking at it from one angle, and the official always has a different angle and sees things that we don't necessarily see. She sees them from where she's at. She's looking right through the players. Yeah.
Yes.
And she sees them kind of lean toward and stick her elbow out and cause some contact. I'm not saying she was wrong. This, by rule, is a foul. I agree.
Yep.
What I'm saying is, if she saw this, she should say to herself, give it a second, let it develop. Nothing happened, we can go. But she sold it. You got that foul and sold it on. Nobody questioned her.
And I guess, I don't know, maybe
it was the correct.
I'm agreeing with Derek, because if you look at time and score, which I know we're not supposed to, but first period, 4-point game, get ahead of it.
Absolutely. You got to correct the behavior.
So we don't have it when it's 1 minute to go.
I got nothing.
Okay, I'll say one more thing and then we'll move on. You call that, you better get the next one that's just as light, because you're going to get ridden by the coach. How is that not a screen? And I guarantee you, not necessarily you specifically, Kevin or Derek, but I guarantee you will call a little foul, and then the next one will be just as little, maybe even a little bit more, and you won't call it because it's a new scenario. And that situation, maybe it didn't affect play in your mind, but the coach doesn't see it that way. They see the same play that happened down there. So you kind of set yourself to a standard that maybe you can't follow, if that makes sense. I don't know. Again, everyone's got to judge based on what they think affected the game. I thought that was nothing. But clearly we are not going to agree on that one. So let's move on.
All I can say is we strive on consistency. We try to be consistent. That's
we
all.
do. Agreed.
The only opinion that matters is that of your assigner.
That's right.
Urlacher will penetrate in. And she will shoot 2 free throws.
Whistle by the lead.
Urlacher will penetrate in.
And
she will shoot 2 free throws.
No agree. I disagree. Good defense.
She had her hands up, but she's still moving. If she's
no.
Watch the hands is up. She's moving.
Slid.
Yeah, she slid. Right. She slid.
It's moving for play.
Yeah, she's still moving. Sliding.
All right. So Let's see. I zoomed in. Okay, she's coming down. She's legal right now. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right here, legal guarding position. Absolutely.
Okay. She takes a step to get into the path.
Still
She's
legal.
clearly not in the
it's
path.
good.
She steps
It's
over to
legal.
get into the path. I think she's still even moving toward the player when contact happens.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a block. That's a block.
Yeah.
But is it a block worth calling?
Yes.
Offensive player looks like she's out of control.
Yeah, she is out of control. I agree with that.
You better call that in the girls' game.
Yeah, you right about that.
Her arms are pretty straight up.
The offense.
Now, I don't have 100% answer on this one for you because I think if you call nothing on this, you might get a little yell from a coach, but everyone will move on. It's not an egregious foul. If you call a foul here, you might get a yell from the other coach, but then they'll move on because there's clearly some movement and contact on a shot. Now, the question is it worth calling or not? And I would say no and yes, because it did affect her shot. Did it not?
But isn't she out of control?
No.
She's out of control. She's
Yes.
out of control.
How is she out of control?
She
Okay.
spins around.
Here, going up. She's selling the foul at this point to me.
Looks like she's pretty in control all the way up to this point, doesn't it?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for slowing it down. Okay. Right there.
I agree.
Throws it up.
She's out of control because she got fouled.
She got fouled, so she swung it up.
She got fouled.
Yeah.
Hey, you got a girl on the
I'm not
floor. You
I
better
got-
call something.
Okay.
Out of control to me is running super fast speed and just trying to hit everything down the way, or kind of fumbling the ball and not quite in control. You know, you're still trying to get it. But this is a very controlled player. Now, again, I'm not necessarily saying I would have called a foul here. And Jim, to your point, maybe in a girls' game, the contact affects them more than it does boys. So maybe it does need to be called. In a boys' game, I think this is probably nothing.
How is this not legal lateral movement?
Look, she's coming straight down. She adjusts to try and go around that defender. And so the defender continues to move into her path.
Yeah.
That's a
If
foul.
she had stayed where she was right here, she would have gone right around her. Do we agree?
Defenders don't need to stay in place though. That's playing defense. I think. Okay, well, this is just a difference in philosophy. NFHS does not have straight line path language like the higher levels do. Path is a loose term. NBA, yes, because she's not in the straight line path. But given that she's legal guarding position at the beginning, she's allowed to move laterally or obliquely. I don't see how that's illegal. I mean, we don't need to argue about it. I think that's just the difference in philosophy we have.
Jacob, it's a valid point, and I would tend to agree with you, except I think she's actually moving forward still while she's airborne. And so she's moving toward her opponent when she hits her. All right.
I think the part we both agree on is I'd rather watch basketball than free throws.
There you go.
Agreed. All right. I want to do a bonus play, and I had one, and now I don't remember what it was. Do that all the time. Let's finish on this one. This is a good bonus play. It's got a few elements to it. I'm going to play it and see what you all pick up. Ready?
Oops.
I'll play it fast again, and I'm going to play it slow.
Just flopping and block.
What did you guys see?
Oh my God, what a fall.
A flop and
Yeah,
a
flop.
Flop and block.
Yeah.
Same play?
Yeah.
That was a vicious charge, man. He got ran over.
Flop over there.
That's nothing.
Exactly.
Oh.
Flopping.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry.
Right there. Yep. Right there.
He's on
And
the
there's a
floor.
block.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
so
that's
not the same play. Maybe that's not the right way to say it. Two separate incidents, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
And going back here, you see the center coming down, signaling flop, yes?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Good
right.
job.
Okay, so he had the flop. And I say, good for him, because that was bad. Agreed?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, but then the lead calls a foul. So what do we do?
Yeah, both.
And I agree. We all agree that this is a blocking foul, yes?
Yeah, the kid's on the ground.
He's lying on the ground and the kid trips over him. That's got to be a block call. And the official gets it. So we've got two correct calls on this play, on two separate plays.
Yeah.
What do we do?
Well, if the first official never blew the whistle at the flop, then the play continued, right? It never stopped.
Correct. Are we supposed to blow a whistle on an of defensive flop?
No.
No.
So you got both.
So he did the procedure was done correctly. He allowed play to continue.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
And then you go to the table for the warning.
All right, now I cut it off here. I didn't make it a super long clip, but what should happen here now?
They should have walked together to talk about it first, but I don't think both of them realized it. I don't think the female realized it that the C had a call.
Flop. Yep.
Yeah. I don't think she saw you, John, with the flop call as she was going to report.
Okay, so you are correct. I was on this, as I mentioned before. This was one of my regional games, and I saw both officials signaling. And I'll tell you what happened, and then I'll tell you what should have happened. The official who signaled flop started to walk toward the calling official, the lead, who didn't know that he had a flop. And she was reporting to the table, 32 or whatever it was, I got a block. And then the center who called a flop said, oh, well, I guess we can't. Well, all right, we'll just go with the block, and walked away.
Oh.
No,
okay.
You can't do that.
Why?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because we talked about this at halftime. And he said he thought she was calling a block on what he was calling a flop. So I understand, then correct. Then you don't call a flop if your partner is calling it a block. What he didn't know is she was calling a different play a block. So I think it was Jack who said, this is a play, and maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was Bob. This is a play. I don't like getting together as officials. If you make the call, I don't need to get together and say, well, what do you have? What do we have? No, you take it. But this is one where you got to go in and talk to your official and say, I have a flop on that initial fall. Is that what you're calling a block, or did you have a block on something else? You got to figure it out. Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And then once you talk a little and you figure out, oh, it's two separate instances, then you can penalize both instances. How would you penalize?
Well, you still have to do your warning.
This is the first flop is warning.
Yes.
That's it. The foul, the basket count as one free throw.
If it's the first flop warning,
yeah.
Report the foul.
Foul.
And then report the flop warning.
Right.
Correct. Yep.
Right? Because the whistle to stop play was a foul, so we have to address that first.
Dead ball foul.
Yes, sir.
I hope I'm not wrong, because it's not really stated in the rules how to do this. What if it's the second flop warning?
No, it's technical team foul. Two free throws and ball in the visual line.
The ball go in on that block foul.
Yep. There it is.
Shooting foul with a made basket. Are you doing the shooting foul first and then the technical foul for the flop warning? Or are you doing the flop warning technical foul first because that happened first and then the shooting foul?
You do the shooting foul first because that's what stopped the play.
Right.
Yep. Yep.
Do we all agree?
Yep.
Again, this isn't written anywhere. I don't think it's exact, but what makes sense to me, because you go in sequential order, right? What happens first? But because we're allowing play to happen on a warning, what really happened first was the foul that stopped the play.
Right.
Right? Because we're letting it play on. We got to let's see what happens. And that flop warning needs to have that heavy penalty of 2 shots and the loss of the ball. So if that's your second one, they get that shot for the block, and then they get 2 shots for the technical and the ball back.
That's right.
That's what I'm doing. Now, maybe they'll clarify next year, but that's what I would do.
That's correct.
Josh, question: if they're given the basket was made, if they give the kid the 1 shot after the basket, and then the technical, if he misses that and 1, do they call it dead ball and then administer the technical, or let the play go on and then
Yep. Okay. So if we're following what we just said, you're going to give the 1 and 1. I know nobody likes that. You're giving the and 1, the bonus shot on that shooting foul.
The lane cleared.
You're not going to put anyone in the lane,
right?
Because what you should always tell yourself, or how you can remember, what is going to happen after this shot. If you're not going to play on and rebound, then you don't put anyone in the lane.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
All right. That's why with a technical foul, they're never in the lane. It's not like a shame on you. You got to stand over here. It's because you don't want anyone in the lane, because if someone thinks they have to rebound and throw an elbow, or it just eliminates any action, because we already know what's going to happen when the free throw is over. So it's going to, even if they miss, we know what we're going to do. We're going to shoot 2 more free throws. Good question. All right. Well, that was my no calls. How'd that feel? A lot of them were kind of easy, I think. Some of them not so much. We had some discussion, I thought, which was good. The main purpose is to get you thinking that, honestly, no calls are generally better than calls. We don't want to make a call just because we're the official. We want to make the call to keep it fair. But I was told a long time ago, you are judged on how fast you move up, or what games you get, or how good you are. You're judged based on your no calls more than you're judged on your calls. Everybody's going to get that huge foul and he went up and shot, but not everybody is going to not blow their whistle on slight contact, or on slight contact on a screen, because a lot of officials, not great officials, they're so reactive. They react. You need to react, but you need to wait. Wait to see what happens, and then you can react. And that'll bring you to the next level, if you're able to do that. We've got one more meeting of the 24-25 season. May 15, it's the 3rd Thursday of the month. And we are going to go over, the title is, That's Offensive. Foul, that is. So we're not going to talk about offensive things that we say. Offensive fouls, okay? Not necessarily block charge. Could be player control. Could be anything in the realm of an offensive foul. Maybe a leg kick out. I don't know. I'll have to look for that. But all along the realms of offensive fouls. There'll be some block charges in there, because those are the fun ones, and we'll talk about guarding. But that'll be next month, May 15. Take it easy, guys.
All right. Thanks.
Hey, Josh.
Thank you, Josh.
Yes.
Bye, boys.